Hello my dear stitchy friends! My name is Marie and welcome to the 5th episode of my Flosstube where we talk about cross-stitch. Monday, 2nd of May 2022 here in the town of Barry in South Wales in the UK, and I am so pleased to have you here. If you are new to this channel, this is a channel all about cross-stitching, although I do have plans for my sewing machine too at some point in the future. I do hope you enjoy what you see, you maybe get inspired and follow along on my stitcher journey. And if you are a returning subscriber, I am ever so grateful for you. Thank you ever so much for coming back and supporting my little stitchy channel. What are we going to be talking about today? So I will, as usual, start with thank you shout outs and some comments from last video. I will show you my kitted up Maynia whips because I will have 4 Maynia starts every Friday of May month. I will show you the whips I've been working on for the past 2 weeks because I've not done a video last week because Luna, our dog, and I will reveal a 1,000 subscribers giveaway celebration. I'm very excited about that. I do hope you will like it as much as I do. And I will talk about my stitchy plans for next week. So I want to shout out thank yous. I wanted to say a massive thank you to Esther from Danish Stitcher, who has given me a lovely shout out in her videos. If you don't know her, please go and check her out. She's based in Denmark, hence Danish Stitcher. I know she's also doing Stitch Junkies, so a German version of Flosstube. So if anybody fancies practicing their German, they definitely have a chance as well. And she will also be joining me on Stitch Beetles with Marie with a lovely Imagine John Lennon piece, which is not Blackbird Design related, but it is a sort of modern, beautiful Beatles piece with vibrant colours, and I can't wait to see her stitch it. She's got a lot of lovely projects. She dyes her own fabric loads, and she's got a wonderful sense of humor. So thank you so much, Esther. I really appreciate you shouting me out and stitching along with me and enjoying my channel. I love your channel back. And guys, like I said, if you'd like to check Esther out, I'm putting a link to her channel below in the description as usual. And then the one and only Emma X Stitching, oh my god, I did a little dance, I have to say. Like Emma is one of the first Flosstubers I've ever started watching. That I have discovered so many things, so many wonderful designers thanks to Emma. I have been enabled on so many occasions, and I continue being enabled seeing the pandemic sampler, long dog sampler that she started, which I have wanted to start for a very long time, but she has started it in her latest episode, and she's using wonderful threads to go with it. So I'm about to order some. When I have them, I will show them here on my channel. Wonderful hand-dyed variegated threads that are just absolutely beautiful. So the name escapes me now. It's like Miss something. I will write it here. So Emma, thank you ever so much for shouting me out. You don't know how much it means. I am very grateful that, and I'm just very excited that you actually enjoy what I do. It's fantastic. So thank you ever so much. And I wanted to say massive thank you to Debbie at Creatively Yours. Debbie is new to me, a Flosstuber, but she's got, like, I think I was shouted out in Flosstube number 98. She's a incredibly established Flosstuber with so many beautiful projects, like wow, full coverage Hates and unconventional cross stitch border are like wonderful, breathtaking projects, wonderful colors, beautiful designs, and lots of stitches. Debbie is based in Holland, and her Flosstube is wonderful, full of inspiration. So again, don't hesitate to go check her out. And Debbie, thank you ever so much for shouting me out and giving me the opportunity to also discover your channel, which I much appreciate. Now onto the comments section of the program. I wanted to say a massive thank you for your comments about Luna, about her well-being. Luna is our dog, our Hungarian Vizsla, who's been through an operation, an emergency operation, where, you know, she's had to have a major spay in a sort of life-threatening situation caused by pyometra. And it was a very difficult time for us, and unfortunately for you guys, I have decided to make a video sort of pouring it onto you, my distress onto you. And I so appreciate everybody who's reached out to me, who's wished her well, who's sort of given me some encouragement. We can't have kids, which is okay. But it naturally means that, you know, our pets are, you know, they are our babies. They mean so much to us, and I really appreciated all your kind words and all your well wishes pouring our way, and it has worked. She was given the all clear by the vets on Friday, actually. So right now she's actually on a long walk, which she is now allowed to do, and we cannot wait to have her in doggy care on Tuesday. Yes, it's been challenging couple of weeks, 2 weeks. We've had to cancel our travel plans. We wanted to go visit my parents the week after Easter, weekend after Easter. It all had to be cancelled naturally, without hesitation, but it's, you know, we've done a couple of sacrifices to make this work, so I am ever so happy that, you know, it's all paid out. She's healing wonderfully. She's very much back to her cheeky, naughty, happy self. And again, thank you all ever so much. And that's it about our pets, I promise. I asked a question in, I think it was last video, when I talked about a Stitch North retreat and how extremely excited I am to go there. But I will not celebrate until we sit on the plane, because, you know, if the past 2 years have taught us anything, then it's we have to be flexible with our hopes for travel. I was asking whether anybody has got any tips for packing for a retreat, and I got a recommendation for another Flosstuber channel. I actually have wanted to watch him for a long time. His name is Riri McGuy Ryan, and I have to admit, I still haven't watched it, but you know, I watch Ellen and I know that Ryan is fantastic, and I just have to sit down and watch his Flosstube, which is my to-do for this week. And I hear that he's got wonderful finishes, which I've seen pictures of some, and wonderful tips on what to pack for a retreat. So I'm definitely prioritizing his channel for this week. So many of my favorite channels have released their videos in the past couple of days that it is incredible how much in arrears I am with watching Flosstube, but I will definitely watch him this week. So thank you ever so much for that recommendation. I also had repeat request about my hoops, you know, the square hoops. I will talk about them in depth in my whip section, and I've got very good news, because I have actually secured a 10% discount on the website of on the manufacturer's website for these hoops. So I am extremely excited about this. I'm going to give an honest, you know, review of them in the whip section, and then you'll see whether you want to use that discount and go ahead and go crazy and get yourself some square hoops. I also had a request to make a stitchy journal video. That is how I make my stitchy journal. You know, I've got a number of stamps that and the journal itself that I got from Notebook Therapy. They've got a massive Instagram account, which is just beautiful. If you like journaling even remotely, you will be hooked onto this Instagram, because they've got wonderful videos and how-tos and inspiration, and their choice of products is just beautiful, with lots of washi tapes and stickers and stamps and beautiful, wonderful, superb quality notebooks. And I will definitely make a video. I haven't prepared my May month yet, so I will make a video and try to post it this week on how to make it, on how I make it. I do, because I haven't bought a set journal, I sort of every month, because I've started it beginning of this year, every month I come up with something else that I want to incorporate into the stitchy journal. So I will sort of talk you through the process of what I do, how I do it, how I stamp it, things like that. Just in case you're interested, I will do it as a separate video, because I know not everybody is interested in that, and you're here for stitching. And we have spoken about Grecian gold substitution in the last video for the swans from the Year in the Woods by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I was asking whether somebody has got any sort of chart, like overdyed substitution chart, that they could share with me, or some tips or something. And I did receive some amazing tips on substitution, but I would like to mention something that I actually found online. It is from a website called Thistles.nl. It's a website of a shop, from what I understand, based in the Netherlands, and they have a PDF conversion chart between DMC's, Gentle Arts, Week's Dye Works, and I think that Classic Colorworks are in there as well. It is absolutely fantastic. I am sharing the link for this PDF in the description down below, and I have used this chart for choosing my Strawberry Fields Forever Maynia start for substituting the unavailable thread. So I'm going to talk you through a little bit through the process of what I did. So let me just take my first Maynia start. This is the one where I've set up a hashtag called Stitch Beetles with Marie. I am going to be starting this chart on Friday the 6th. So if anybody is at all interested in stitching anything Beetles related, please go ahead, use this hashtag on Instagram. Let me know you're stitching it. I love seeing all that inspiration, all the people who are just stitching along with me. It's wonderful. And what I did was, when I started kitting it up, I couldn't get my hands on Old Brick by Gentle Arts and the code for Tin Bucket by Gentle Arts. And so what I did, I took the PDF from Thistles that I mentioned, and I have, Control F or Command F if you're on Mac, and I have written a keyword, so Old Brick in this case, when I was looking for an Old Brick substitution. The reason why I'm doing this is that the thread is usually mentioned on multiple places in that PDF document. So I looked through all of the instances where it came up, and I could see the DMC equivalent, the Gentle Arts equivalent, the Week's Dye Works equivalent, and if available, then Classic Colorworks equivalent. And so there were a couple. So for one Old Brick, there could be maybe 5 different substitutes that I wanted to check out. And I didn't just order it blindly, so you know, us who are just dependent on online orders. I went to createnostalgia.co.uk, one of my favorite UK LNSs, and I have searched for, you know, full text search for old brick gentle arts. I've left it open on my laptop, and then I searched for all the substitutes that I have found in that PDF, all that suggestions. And I just looked on my screen what looks the closest, to be honest. There was nothing more sophisticated than that. And I also looked at my chart, looked at the symbol that I am looking to substitute, and I was looking, based on what I saw on my laptop screen, what, like, does it look like it would look good in that, you know, in that place in the chart, right? So it was just sort of cross-checking, if you will, cross-checking how would it look as much as I can without actually having the physical product, which, you know, to be honest, most of us just don't. I have come up with Gentle Arts Mulberry being the best substitute for my red brick, and I'm going to, old brick, and I'm going to show you. Old brick is the fruits here. So this is going to be my old brick, right? Then I did exactly the same with Tin Bucket, and I've chosen Soot as a substitute. And Soot is going to be used on these darker sort of places of the pot and the fence. And I'm going to show you just these, the three that are going to be working together. So we are looking at a garden gate, because I'm just going to show you whether you think that I've done a good job. Garden gate, right? So that's like a dark grayish, grey-brown maybe. Then we've got Soot that I've chosen. Then we've got the O symbol, which is Pelican Grey. That is this. And then we've got the L symbol, which is Lexington Green, which is here, right? And so I think that, you know, given the fact that I wasn't able to go to a shop and actually physically compare these next to each other, I think I've done a, you know, not a bad job, because the contrast that is there is, I'd say, very similar to what is called for. And in any case, there is a contrast, right? That's what we want. I was worried that I'm going to receive something that is going to be very similar to other color that is called for, but I'm pretty chuffed with it. So it is not a, you know, a 1 minute process. It does take quite a lot of comparing, looking at the stitched model, you know, thinking like, what, you know, what would look better? Would it look better with, you know, red tones or pinker tones, or you know, grey tones or brown tones or something? So a lot of thought went into it, and I hope I've done the right thing. That's all I can say. I will be stitching this on 36 count Weeks Dye Works Confederate Grey, and I think that all of these have got quite a decent contrast that will look really quite good. Let's see on 6th of May when I started. I wanted to say that my lovely friend Sharon from my cross-stitching diary on Instagram is joining me in doing this as well. Sharon is a wonderful stitcher. She stitches so quickly and such beautiful projects. So if you're on Instagram, I would recommend you checking her out, because she's a wonderful friend, an amazing stitcher, and she is going to run miles, you know, stitching this. She is going to be done within a week or something. I can only imagine. She's just such a quick stitcher and wonderful. So go and check her out. So this was the kitted up strawberry fields for Friday 6th of May start. Now I've kitted up the Friday 13th Pet All the Dogs as well. I've spoken about it a little bit when I've received the chart, but I just wanted to say, so this is a chart by Teresa Kogut, whom I really like as a designer. And this is a Pet All the Dogs version of the chart, but she has provided also a Hug All the Cats version. And in that version, these dogs facing each other are cats, and all these dogs on either side of the house are cats, in fact. And how I would like to amend it, because we've got a, you know, russet gold dog and a black cat, so I'd like to keep the color of the dog that is sort of facing here. I don't know if it's going to focus, sorry. And then a black cat facing that dog, because they love their standoffs. So that would be always a dog and a cat facing each other. And I'd like to rechart this, even though it's quite a, you know, I've never done something like this before, so I'm hoping that I will count it correctly. But I'd like it to say Pet All the Dogs and Hug All the Cats either side, and then I'd like to just stitch a year, I think, year here in the middle, because there's, I doubt, I mean, I'll see, but I doubt there will be enough space for both sentences and all the numbers. And then I will change up, I don't know which yet, probably depending on which dogs I like, and I will try to make the colorway, you know, likened to actual our pets. But it will be probably a cat, dog, cat, something like that. So I think it's wonderfully versatile and it looks beautiful. I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. However, I have kitted up exactly as called for, and I am slightly disappointed. So on this model, you can see that the fabric is sort of light, and I really like the way it looks. It's beautiful as called for. Unfortunately, what came through when I ordered it, it's the Weeks Dye Works Tin Roof, is a color that is much darker, and I mean much darker. And when I put the called for, the only one I don't have is the sort of dark pink color here. I've got it behind me in my floss storage, but just to show you, I'm really worried that it's just going to be, if I stitch it on this, it's just going to be like this bland, non-contrasting result. It's not tickling my fancy, to be honest. I prefer, I generally prefer when there is a contrast, when colors pop. So I try to always choose the linen that will make the colors pop a bit, and that's not happening here. That's definitely not happening here. And I wanted to show you, I have made Fox and Rabbit orders from both Peakside Needleworks and Patchwork Rabbit. So I'm not sure who I received this from. I think it was Patchwork. No, actually, it must have been Peakside Needleworks, because they've got this. Oh, this is, by the way, this is genius. This is a tag with what it is. And it's very unique, so I know it's Peakside. And it's 40 count Flannel Flowers. And I mean, I'm in love. I think this is my new favorite fabric. It's beautiful. In person, it's actually a bit more subdued than I can see on the phone. The darker areas are perhaps not quite as pronounced as it shows up on the screen. But when I show you this, I think it might be the winner for the neutral colors, right? Because they all pop so nicely on there. It is a 40 count. I think it's a yes, to be honest. And I'm gonna have to get another, I don't know how much of this fabric, but you will hear it later. I have plans for this beautiful, sorry, putting it back in the plastic. I've got plans for this fabric because it's beautiful. And this, I mean, in general, I guess I'm a tiny bit disappointed with this fabric because it's full of like fluff. I've literally been taking off fluff off of it. Oh, maybe here you'll be able to see, like, I don't know. This is all these like sort of darker bits. That's all fluff. Yeah, I'm not impressed, let's put it that way, with Tin Roof. But I'm sure I will find something to stitch on it. There is absolutely zero doubt in my mind. And the next kitted up project is Seeking Refuge, that will be started on Friday the 20th. And most exciting news, Angi the Tiny House Stitcher is going to be joining on this. She will be stitching, it will be her Maynia start as well. And we thought we might come up with a hashtag so that people can join in, if should you wish so, stitching the Seeking Refuge with us. So if anybody has got any creative tips on coming up with a Seeking Refuge hashtag, do let me know. Fabulous. And I this is completely as called for, completely. It will be stitched on 40 count Newcastle vintage country mocha by Zweigart. The threads are exactly as called for, completely. And the last start of May, which I've mentioned already, is Friday 27th, will be this Bells on Christmas Day book. It's the needle case from this book. It looks like this. It's beautiful. And I have all the called for threads for it. It's all weeks dye. And I have, so Blackbird Design in general, a lot of their designs are subdued in terms of the contrast between the threads and the fabric, which is completely understandable because a lot of it is like made to look like a historical sampler. But I was hoping for a little bit more pop, and hence me saying that I've got big plans for Fox and Rabbit Flannel Flowers, because look at that. I mean, I think that contrast is beautiful. Beautiful. It just pops so wonderfully. So yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said it's my new favorite. Yeah, I will definitely stitch it on this linen 100%. So those are the kitted up Maynia plans. I will be starting a new all these new projects every Friday in May. I have started a hashtag that's called Maynia Fridays. If anybody wishes to join and share what they are doing, feel free to do so. I am a little bit behind with my comments and communication on Instagram. Maybe I have an utmost respect for anybody who's got tens of thousands of followers or something and still manage to reply, you know, really quickly and everything. I remember Deliciously Ella, who's got like 2.5 million followers or 2 million followers, she actually replied to my message. Like, wow, like I've got so much respect for all of you who can do that. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to carve out time to respond and to do everything, and I'm finding out that there is something as spam on Instagram, and also something, you know, comments held for review on YouTube for no reason whatsoever. It's just normal comments. So please bear with me. You know, I'm getting the hang of it. I'm getting better, I promise. Right, now on to whips and new starts. No, sorry, no new starts because Maynia. Just whips this time. So I have stitched around 6,000 stitches in the past 2 weeks. I haven't done the final count for the past 2 days just because I was really trying to push 2 of my projects that I wanted to finish before I start the 4 new Maynia starts. So I will show you what I've been working on. I have drawn a Pomodoro project which looked like this when I started stitching it, and after a week, the previous week I was working on it, it looks like this now. So I was able to finish the rocking horse, and I was able to start the dress of, I believe it's Clara, I think. Oh, what's her name? I don't know. Can't remember. I didn't grow up with Lucky Nutcracker, by the way, as a fairy tale. But it's lovely. It's really nice. So this design is by Caterpillar Crossstitch. It was released last year as a mystery cell, and you know, you guys know that I've got zero self-control when Sally releases new cells. So I started this one, and I wasn't able to keep up because of other whips that I've had going on, so I just put this into my normal Pomodoro whip rotation, and I am going to try to have it finished before sort of Advent this year. Another then for the week that just passed, I was wondering, should I draw a Pomodoro cross stitch, a Pomodoro project, or you know, randomly, or should I just choose something that is sort of closest to finishing so that I can tick something off before I have the 4 new starts? So obviously option B was the correct one. And if you've seen my Instagram, you know what project I was working on. It is this lovely Christmas Village ornament by Dimensions. Let me just show you how it's going to look like when it's completely finished. It is this one here. So there will be all 6 projects going on the fabric, so I'm not going to be able to cut it and finish it until I've got all 4 projects on here. This stitch has been a little bit challenging. It is on 18 count, and true to all Dimensions projects that I've seen so far, you know, there a lot of the texture and everything is created by using half stitches and you know, full stitches, but a different number of threads. And it's, you know, there's 4 threads called for, 3 threads, 2 threads, 1 thread. But because this is an 18 count, and you know, it's quite dense, you know, getting 4 threads in and with a lot of confetti happening, it has been a challenge at some point to actually get the needle through, especially when doing the back stitching. I finish my thread by running it behind a couple of stitches, and you know, with this amount of confetti, it was a challenge. And in the windows here, it called for 3-strand full cross, and I wasn't having any of it. I was just doing 2-strand. I sacrificed the texture to, you know, just manageable stitching, to be quite honest with you. The back stitch, I think, looks absolutely awesome. It's not finished yet. You can see that, you know, some of the details are missing, and I will also need to do couching here on Santa's sleigh. But can you see this? This is an incredibly busy bag, like busy and then some. I was using my 28 needle size 28 DMC, which is very thin. It's a tapestry needle, so it's not very sharp, but because it's very thin, it is sharp. And I was struggling to push it through, especially in places that had the you know, 4-strand half stitch changing into a full stitch. And where I finished the thread, yep, a bit of a challenge, but I think that the result is more than worth it. It's lovely. The amount of detail that is achieved by just adding backstitch. I will put, this is how it looked when I just finished stitching it. And this is how it looks now. Isn't that beautiful? I think it is. I'll be excited to have them all done because it would be awkward to try. I tried to stitch it in hand, actually. If you've seen my first video, you know that I started stitching this, you know, sort of vertically instead of horizontally. I've made a complete boo, but it will all fit. It's just that I'm getting really dangerously close to the sides of the fabric. You might hear a barking soon. Somebody's yeah, so I was saying, because I was so close to the edge, I tried to stitch it in hand because I couldn't fit it in a hoop. But because of how dense the stitching is, it didn't really look nice, and it wasn't a nice experience stitching it in hand. Not at all. So I just sewn this on with my very tidy, very precise running stitch. Can you tell? I sort of measured it really properly, and I made sure it's aesthetically pleasing. Anyhow, it works, you know, it works. And I just sewn like an old cheap embroidery fabric or something that I had hanging about, and I sewn it on so that I can still use Q-snap. I've used the Q-snap for this, and you can see that this is like completely at the end of, you know, it's like pushing here, because how I constantly had to adjust it so that I've got some how do you call it, tension, thank you, fabric tension in here, because it kept on going loose, which wasn't really a great experience. And that brings me to actually talking about the hoops that I promised that we would discuss. I use these hoops on 2 of my projects that you've seen here previously, that I was working on in these past 2 weeks. This is Have Courage by Cottage Garden Samplings. I am in love with this design, with this project. I think it's absolutely just beyond beautiful. couldn't be more in love with it. I'm stitching it on 40 count Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit. The colors are, you know, looking wonderful on this. It's stitched 1/2, 40 count. And I have it in my square hoop from Nurge. That's spelled Nurge. Their website is nurge.net. It is a UK based business, but their hoops are world renowned, and rightly so. So I've got 4 different sizes of their hoops, and I will switch over this project to a Nurge hoop for finishing touches on the back stitch, because the thing about these hoops is that it just doesn't move. The project just doesn't move, and I'm going to show you why. When I open it, can you see this sort of ridge here? It's not terribly pronounced, but there is like a little bump in here, and this, right, it fits inside. So what you have is nothing sharp or anything, so that you can still put this over your stitches, but it holds your fabric absolutely wonderfully. The amount of times that I've had to adjust this just to have a good tension for my backstitch is absolutely incomparable to the amount of times that I don't have to adjust this and my fabric still keeps wonderful tension. It is an overall really good stitching experience, and what I like about this as well is that in here you've got this really massive frame that, you know, if you run your stitches in the back, like you need to have quite a good margin in here in order to be able to still stitch, because of how sort of big this is compared to this hoop, which is nice and thin, really good, and you're able to go really pretty close to the edge without having like a bad experience, let's say, of stitching near the edge. That has been my experience, at least. So there are 4 sizes of the hoops, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the biggest. This is where I have my Mr. Rabbit from Teresa Kogut's Love Is. It's all happening here. My God, I could never show you my desk right now. Love is the key, right? So this is the this is Mr. Rabbit that is finished, which was my goal from previous video. And just to give you an idea of scale, I will take my iPad and put it against this hoop. This is how it looks. This is how big it is. So the hoop is really generous. And if you don't like moving your hoop, if you like to have quite a good amount of stitching done without moving a hoop, this is really good for big projects. And also, unlike the round hoops, obviously you get so much more stitched. I am definitely a square hoop convert, just because of the space that you can stitch. Then size 2 is this, right? That's the this is the next, sorry, size 3. This is the biggest is size 4. This is size 3. This is size 2. For scale, it fit the Christmas ornament that I've shown you. And then size 1. This is probably the only one that I sort of wouldn't buy again, to be honest. If I am going to be buying more, and I'm going to be focusing on size 3 and size 4. I am stitching in hand more, but especially the 40 count, you know, I just feel like my stitches are so much neater, and I just find it easier to stitch with a hoop. That's the truth of the matter. Slower but easier. And I stitch like ambidextrously. I've got right hand underneath and left hand on the top of my fabric, so I stitch faster than if I had to sort of, you know, carry my hand from underneath the fabric to stab it again. So I'm sort of middle of the road in terms of stitching speed with these. I have reached out to Nurch and told them that I'd like to do a hoop comparison, and that, you know, I have been talking about their hoops for some time, and if there's anything they could do, and indeed they could, and they have given me a code to share that will give you a 10% discount for their prices that are already the best in the market, directly on their website. That goes by www.nurge.net. I will put the link below, and the code is S&D, sand D. When I first saw it, I was like, sand, what does it have to do with me? That's how slow my brain is. So stitches and diamonds, S&D as a one word. I will put all the details down in the link below. Unfortunately, this is for UK based folks only. I'm really sorry, my dear transatlantic friends or European friends. I've asked whether they have any recommendations for any distributors, for any shops that ship internationally. I'm waiting for you know, any recommendation. The only sort of thing I can say is to look at your sort of nearest commercial, maybe, you know, like Lovecrafts don't carry them, and 123 Stitch neither. I don't know, Etsy, just try it on Etsy. I know that a lot of people carry these on Etsy. They are slightly more expensive than on the Nurge website, which, you know, understandably so, because Nurge is directly the manufacturer of these. But, you know, if you get a chance, if you get an opportunity to buy these, I could not recommend it more. These have definitely been the best investment that I've ever done. And if anybody would like to go on Amazon and just buy non-Nurge but square hoops, then I'm telling you, do not waste your time or money. Been there, done that, and it has been an absolute disaster. The thing is with the sort of knockoffs, what they don't realize is this, the you know what I've spoken about, like it's that it sort of fits together, the bump and the ridge here, and they just send it with an absolutely flat surface, which means that the fabric has absolutely no grip whatsoever, and at the same time it's so wonky that it just doesn't really fit like this. When you've put it together, there is no space in between. It fits perfectly. The knockoff I bought about 2 years ago, bless me, when I didn't know a thing or two, yeah, it was a disappointment, it was a disaster, and it was a waste of money and time. So this is my genuine, honest recommendation for the best hoop that I have so far discovered. I also do have the wooden hoop. I've had this one for about 2 years, also following a really bad experience on Amazon. You know, when you just buy these sort of cheap set of wooden hoops and they're horrid. The circles are wonky, this is too short, it doesn't fit, it's altogether a bad experience. This is a really nice beech wood, and I've had and loved this hoop. This is the only hoop I use, round hoop, and I've had it and loved it for about 2 years. It doesn't have the same grip as the square hoop because, well, it doesn't have the bump, you know, it's just a normal hoop. It's a flat surface, but I have discovered the twill tape hack that stops your fabric from moving. So what you do, you take the inner hoop. Mine is a bit gross because I haven't redone it for 2 years. So this has been on many projects and has been handled many a time. So I'm sorry, it's not pristinely white anymore. I might have to redo it. And if I redo it, I will do a little tutorial. But it really is nothing complicated whatsoever. What you do is you take your twill tape, which cost me about £3 on Amazon. It's a really cheap investment, and you just start wrapping it. Hold it with your fingers, start wrapping it around, all the way around, and then when you come back, you just sew it really like properly, just to make sure that it doesn't move. There, I didn't sew it all around. The only sewing that I've done is in the bottom here, and like I said, it has held for 2 years now. So this is really good. This is a really good tip, and it has been lovely. It's not really moving. I occasionally have to sort of readjust it, but otherwise, it holds the fabric in really lovely. So it's a really good hoop if you prefer round hoop. The only thing that I prefer about the square hoops is that you can generally get, unless it's a round design, you can generally get more stitching done, all those corners and everything. It's just a nicer area for stitching for me. But I still continue using my round hoop, and this is Hate She Sleeps, which I didn't manage to work on at all again. The last whip I am going to show you that I worked on is this cutesy little dimensions Christmas ornament. Again, very close to completion. This is plastic canvas, and this is a challenge, guys. I end my thread by running it behind the existing threads, but with this being a plastic canvas, I don't even know how to finish a thread differently on a plastic canvas. I can't see any other way. I can't see a pin stitch working on this, so I have to run it behind the existing stitches, and it's just impossible to do. My fingers have taken a real beating between these two projects, pushing through the backstitch and ending the threads on this. It's just that your thread is like really firmly against the plastic, and I don't want to compromise the tension of my stitches, so they are pretty, they are done pretty sort of firmly, but that means that running the thread behind it is a real pain, literally and figuratively speaking. The only thing, so when I picked it up, I've done this bit, the whole bike bit, and the whole bottom here, and some of the snow down here, and I'm just missing the bottom and a little bit of the Santa, and that will be it. So I am definitely going to try to finish this before I start my Maynia new starts, and I'm also going to try to finish this, so that I've got something off my plate before I start new things, And that's it in terms of my stitching. So on to my haul. It's been 2 weeks since I've spoken to you last, and I have some haul to show you. Firstly, I wanted to show you something very beautiful and exciting, I think, because Patchwork Rabbit, and if it's not Patchwork Rabbit, I'm going to immediately correct myself by writing it here on the screen, but I'm 99% sure that this is Patchwork Rabbit, have gotten their hands on some used vintage spools, textile spools, and they are beautiful, aren't they just? I mean, oh, they look so nice. So this is definitely going into my finishing stash. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I have it. They cost £7 each, I'm pretty sure, and there were about 200 in stock, but I have a feeling they might fly. So if this is something that interests you, you know, please go ahead and order it. I'm gonna put a link in the description below. This is 9.5, almost 10 centimeters, and this is how big the spool is. So, right, so for scale, it's about 9, sort of 8.5, 9 centimeters, so not a bad, which is 4 inches. You know not to trust me with inches. I would advise you not to. So that's the spools that I'm majorly excited about. Then I have bought, I have bought more of the Saltbush linen, together with the, everything is falling, together with the Flannel Flowers, both Fox and Rabbit, both 40 count, and one was bought from, no, both were bought from Peakside Needleworks, because tag, and I have bought a third Fox and Rabbit linen, which is this beautiful, amazing blue. Blue is, you know, probably my favorite color ever. Blue and green, but if I had to choose, it would probably have to be blue. And this is, oh yeah, this is it. This is it. I am in love with this. It is a 40 count called Ocean Air by Fox and Rabbit. Their linen just feels ever so nice. Exactly the right amount of softness to it. Always comes serged at least one bit. I think that's from how it's cut. I think it comes in big pieces that are all serged on all sides, which is a lovely touch. And I think that one of Barbara Anna's designs might look really nice on this. Even though Barbara Anna tends to use darker blue, I think it might still look absolutely awesome. I've got the Dreaming Frida from her, but the original, the Dreaming Girl, is it? I think I'm gonna get it and see look if the colors would be a good contrast on this. I think it's lush. Then I have got a couple of charts to show you. So where do I start? Where do I start, guys? Patchwork Rabbit announced on their Instagram that they've got the Keeper of the Pins and Seasons of the Heart in stock by With Dye Needle and Thread, and I didn't need to hear more, honestly. It took me about 5 seconds to go and get these from them, because they are absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful. I want to make one of these pin cushions ASAP, and these, I mean, would you just look at that? And just in case somebody sort of wondered this as well, I thought that this might be some kind of like metal sort of ornaments that you have to buy separately. What you have in this book is these, so you just cut them out and, you know, punch them through, and that's what you use for your project. There's more than enough. You can see that it's, even if you wanted to stitch it 6 times, you'd still have enough of these to use on your pillows. So aren't they just beautiful? I'm excited about these, but you know me, I get excited about all of the cross stitch. Then I've stocked up a little bit further on my Blackbird Design charts. So I've got Eleanor Rigby, which is gorgeous, then Blackbird, and also, funnily enough, I've told you that I am a big Beatles fan, that, you know, I used to listen to Beatles all the time and knew all their songs, but somehow Blackbird song escaped me, and I have been listening to it for the past 2 weeks, and it's a gorgeous song, it's a gorgeous melody, and I can't get it out of my head. You know, I do something in the household and I just, you know, Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Yeah, so it's, if you don't know that song, I would highly recommend that you check it out. And Yellow Submarine. So I'm only missing Octopus's Garden. So I'm definitely on the way to have them all. And Stitch Beetles with Marie will not be just a Maynia thing. I have big plans for it. We are going to stitch all of these together. And then I've got 3 small charts that I don't know if small by size, that I love. I've had them in my basket for a very, very long time, and I'm glad I bought them finally. So la-di-da, kinder than necessary, and it says be kinder than necessary and love beyond measure. Isn't that beautiful? If everybody did that on this beautiful earth, life would be wonderful. And peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. You know, everywhere you go online, there's just so much anger and just so much rage and so much disagreement, and you know, people wishing for peace and, you know, in the same sentence wishing horrible things on somebody who disagrees with them, and it's just a really, really difficult, weird world to navigate right now. So to me, stitching these sort of kind, calming words is my way of being peaceful and reminding myself that, you know, love and kindness and, you know, feeling peace inside, it really matters. And I do believe that it can change the world. Hopefully. Guys, I can't believe how long this video is. My goal to keep it under 30 minutes is, you know, in shambles, and I do apologize. This is a 4 times as much probably. Oh, sorry. But I said that I would like to celebrate my 1,000 subscribers milestone, for which I am eternally grateful to you all. Thank you ever so much. And I wanted to come up with something special, and I hope that I will not disappoint. So I have seen a chart that I think is absolutely brilliant, perfect and beautiful, and this is going to be part of the giveaway. It's from Heartstring Samplery, and it says kind words never die. I think it's beautiful, and I have decided that to make it sort of special, I will not only stitch it with you at the same time, which I don't know if can be considered special, but I liked it so much that I have to have it as well. But I will kit it up with the called for threads that I will provide on my handmade floss drops, and I will also give you a fabric to stitch it on, so it will come as a complete kit that you can just go ahead and dig into, which I'm excited about. And it will be either on 32 count flax Belfast linen. Let me just take out the colors quickly. They are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Let me just take it Can you see it? The blue is so, it's a peacock blue. It's beautiful. Or, which, you know, something that I personally will do, I will be stitching this on the 40 count Flannel Flowers, and I'm going to show you the contrast, which I think is, oh my god, can you see that? How beautiful is that? So if you win this giveaway, you will be able to choose whether you'd like me to include the 40 count Flannel Flowers or the 32 count Belfast linen in the color flax. I'm gonna show it again next to each other. They are relatively similar colors, but I do think that on the Flannel Flowers the colors pop a little bit more, just a tad, but they are beautiful. And again, it's Heartstring Samplery, kind words never die. Okay, and how to get this kit should you be interested in it. So I would ask you to kindly be a subscriber, because this is a celebration for my subscribers. I will check. Be my subscriber. Be over 18, please, so that I can ask for your address. Like this video and add a comment. And that comment should not, or cannot please, contain any words that say giveaway or free, or, you know, anything that might give the scanning bots a reason to spam my video with comments that, you know, this is literally for my subscribers. But the comment needs to contain word kindness, and I would very much like if you could tell me some positive story on how kindness, you know, changed your life, or what is the latest kindness you have shown to somebody or somebody has shown to you. Anything that, you know, what does kindness mean to you? Anything to do with kindness, to make this video a really positive, nice sort of place to go to and feel this heartwarming sensation when reading the comments. That would mean so much to me. So please do comment with a word kindness, as I said, and I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else that would be a condition to this giveaway. I do hope that you like what I came up with. I think that the kit is you know, a good way to show how much I appreciate you guys. I will post it internationally to any subscriber that will include the word kindness and tell us a little bit about kindness in their lives in the comments below. Now, this has been a long video, guys. I think that I will end it there. If you've listened up until now, I thank you ever so much for spending so much stitchy time with me. I hope you've had a nice beverage. I hope you've had some nice stitchy time, that you've been working on a project that you love. I hope you're gonna have a fabulous week ahead of you, full of just happiness and joy. And I hope you enjoy your stitchy projects one stitch at a time. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye!